Shipley is Civano's Nursery out of Tucson, the foremost grower of all things Southwestern. So if it's an agave, a yucca, desert willows, he patents and introduces new varieties of mesquites and all kinds of crazy stuff. He's creating new life, and then I get to go pick from it. So we'll go down, Lisa and I'll go down 2 or 3 times a year to go see his farm, walk it, and go, oh, those are great. Arizona cypress, unbelievable. Nothing is better than his cypress. He's our go-to guy because he goes for the nicest one in this part of the country, not just Arizona, I think the country. And then he supplies basically the entire Southwest. So anyway, he's a valuable resource. I'll give it up to Chris Shipley, Civano's Nursery. Give it a 2 hands.
Thank you very much. We are a regional nursery now, started 20 years ago. It's a family operation. We only sell to independent garden centers and businesses. There's no chain stores, no box stores. We believe the family business has a very strong place in America, and we support our independent garden centers. And I also own an independent garden center for the last 20 years as well. But we ship 6 different states. We have 120 employees, and all of it's grown in Tucson, Arizona. It's my father, my 2 brothers, my wife, and myself, and I'm Chris Shipley. And it's just a nice family business that's in our community. I brought some plants today that we've grown for you. Civano Select is one of our brands. It's our company name. You see these pots of Waters Garden Center. This is gopher plant, and it is a wonderful plant for up here. It is very resistant to a lot of the animals and wildlife and critters up here. And if I'm going to damage this plant just slightly, Ken, if I may,
No.
show you.
That's okay, I'll ask for credit. Go
There
ahead.
you go. Show you why it's sort of critter-proof. This milky substance, I gotta wipe this off my hand, is an irritant. So if a rat or a bunny, they won't eat it because of this. And a lot of euphorbias are this way. This is called Euphorbia rigida. But a lot of things get eaten here. You know, you spend a lot of money buying plants. So this is one that is a little more bulletproof for your yard, very xeric and low water. Just don't, if you touch it, it's not poisonous, it just is an irritant. So don't stick your hand in your eye. But the rabbits know not to eat it, the deer, any of the gophers. So it blooms this wonderful blue, yellow flower. And a lot of nurseries have a hard time growing this plant because the seed is hard to get. The seed pushes up like a person throwing a football. All of a sudden the seed is ready and it goes pop, and the seed flies out. The nurseries are trying to capture it with little bags, but it's you literally got to time it just perfectly to get the seed. We've come up with a better way. We clone it. So we actually take cuttings, so we don't have to worry about the seed supply as much. And our gopher plants are very uniform because of that. They always look beautiful. So gopher plant is the one up here at Prescott Valley that'll do great in your yard. Yeah.
How old is that plant?
That plant is about 1.5 years old.
And how big is it going to be?
Sorry, yeah, that's a great question. It'll get about 3 foot tall, 3.5, and it will come out here about 3.5 foot wide floor. Blooms up here in March, and it's very xeric. You barely have to water it once established in the summer, maybe once every 2 weeks up here in the summer. Leave it alone in the winter. And you can't prune it back. If it gets a little unwieldy, it's okay to cut on it. Just remember not just to wash off your pruners and your hands.
Is it a good container plant?
Oh yeah, it would be a good container plant too. It's quite cold hardy, it's green year round.
Is it required on sun?
It does love the sun, but it can take part shade. It'll just be a little more stretchy. but the sun's good.
And how about if you have dogs in the yard? Is that going to hurt them?
Dogs are pretty smart.
They'll stay away from it.
Yeah, once they touch it. Yeah, pretty much. It's like my wife, we can't put cactus in the front yard for a little dog. I'm like, sure we can. Yes, we need to. The backyard will be fine when she really rough house. The front yard, when she hits into it, she'll remember. No, Troy. No, that's kind of mean. But you're right.
Sayings to live by from an entrepreneur.
But I do have cactus in my front yard, and she goes, "Owie, Daddy." We are very fortunate that we are the only grower in Arizona that's been selected by Monrovia, which is a national brand, actually an international brand that sells into my home country, Canada, where I'm from. But we are the only Monrovia partner in Arizona. So we help in a smaller way with the Monrovia product for Waters Garden Center as to fill in the gaps, because they're all over the United States, and sometimes they need a little help, and we've been selected as the best grower to help them in Arizona. So we have a privilege. It's our privilege to be able to grow their product in their pots with their labels. And I only do a very limited amount of line items, but it's a huge learning opportunity for us. We've been doing it for the last 3 years. So I'd like to introduce this plant to you, which is the newest newest Muhlenbergia capillaris cultivar on the market. It'll bloom in fall here, September, and you may be familiar with the regal mist or the red, sort of pinkish muley grass around here. This one is almost purple. It's called Plumetastic. And I grew the regal mist last year, 500 in one spot. We striped it right next to it in our growing facility, 500 Plumetastic. I was like, we'll see. It's brand new on the market. Let's just see if you can beat this plant. And I'm always skeptical. I was overwhelmed how beautiful. This just blows away any other mist plant. The flower intensity it goes to a hot purple almost, and then it fades down to where regal mist starts as its intensity. So I expect over the next couple of years this plant will really shine and outdo any of the other muley grasses up here.
How tall will it get?
It's about 3 feet.
That's
3 by
getting
3.
close to maturity right there, and then the flower hovers above that.
Hovers, so it comes up above.
Yeah.
Kind of see, the tag doesn't do it justice. You just need to put one in your garden.
Every yard should have one of those. Every yard.
Well, you
Such a
get
great
fall
plant.
color. Fall color is a great opportunity as a second wave of color. And so the grasses really shine in September, October around here. And so,
And what's that one called?
Plumetastic. And it's a Monrovia exclusive, I believe, and I couldn't grow it any other way through the Monrovia brand. So, again, I'm really lucky to be able to have cutting-edge plants at our nursery.
I tell you what, Chris, we'll give that one you have in your hand away.
Yeah,
There's a drawing down in the lower greenhouse. Put your name in, and we'll draw it out on Monday. Just whoever, we'll add that to the list of plants to give away.
oh, fantastic.
That'd be fun.
That's great.
No, fantastic.
Yes. It's Plumetastic. This is a lesser-known plant. We call it Mediterranean carpet. It's in our Civano Select brand. I found this plant 10 years ago in Albuquerque. And we were trying to sell to Albuquerque and was trying to figure out what plants would sell there. I was like, well, that's going to work up at Waters. This is great, but Waters doesn't seem to have it. So this is a good opportunity for me. And so I brought it back to Tucson, and I didn't think it would live in Tucson. I didn't know anything about it. And this plant at the moment doesn't look all that, but it will shortly. And it thrives in Tucson. It's like, oh, this is fantastic. And so it takes the heat. It'll take 120, but it'll take well below zero. It's mostly evergreen. Maybe when it's getting around zero, it'll sort of fade out.
No, it's evergreen.
Oh, fantastic.
It's evergreen. Yeah.
Rabbits, again, it's very aromatic. If you just smell the foliage, rabbits are not interested. A lot of the pests, like critters, aren't interested. Gets a beautiful little pink flower. Only gets 8 inches tall. but it's still not done. It hasn't sold it yet on this plant. So it gets about a 3-foot circle. You can mix this plant in containers with succulents and cactus. It's that xeric and low water. You could have a nice big cactus bowl or a succulent bowl. You pot it up for the summertime. Mix this in. Go away for 2 weeks. Your succulents are okay. Give them real good water. You come back. This plant will be just fine. In the monsoon season, don't water it. It loves full sun. It hates overwater. It's very soft. You always want to pet it. And the flowers will attract some bees to your yard, but we need bees. So, it's Teucrium majoricum is the botanical name, but the name that we all know by is Mediterranean carpet. Super cold hardy, sun hardy, bulletproof plant for up here. Albuquerque's every bit as cold as here, and it'll do great here. It does great. Waters has been selling it for a few years now.
Do we have that in stock now, Chris?
You do have some, but they're going fast. We'll have to get some more. But we do have, I saw about 8 or 10 down there.
I can tell you that I have planted that plant in a pot this big. I put one that size in the middle, and it overflowed. It's now green. It looks just like that. It's now this big around, and now it's covered halfway down the pot. This big green pot. And I put a piece of art in the middle. It's spectacular.
Yeah.
Evergreen. It's everything he said. That's what it is.
I love the plant. It's one of my favorite little ground covers. Very kind of new to the Tucson desert. Phoenix even takes it. All right, this tree that Jim brought me over, was kind enough to get, is another Monrovia product, but it is a Civano Nursery founded product. So the relationship with Monrovia goes both ways. We have a lot of new genetics, a lot of new clones of trees, new types of stuff coming on the market. Possibly that's what Monrovia saw as well, other than just having good practices and growing. This is called Sweet Katie. It's a Chalopsis, a desert willow, which is native to Prescott Valley, all of Arizona. Great smaller, medium-sized tree. The Chalopsis attract hummingbirds, as you probably a lot of you know. But the nice thing about this specific variety of Chalopsis, or desert willow, is it stays very symmetrical. And I'm always looking for plants that are pretty. I enjoy plants that are pretty. And this is a really pretty tree. So Monrovia has a seedless variety called Timeless Beauty. It's a little more open. Seedless is great though, less raking. This one has low production of seed, but it's very tight and symmetrical. Blooms a beautiful burgundy colored flower, dark burgundy flower. I highly recommend it for a smaller space or an easy care tree, kind of like it's the Oklahoma redbud of desert willows.
Yeah.
It's very vibrant, very symmetrical, and
And
beautiful.
mainly, all I heard was you'll only find it
Yeah,
here at Waters Gardens.
You will.
Really? You'll only find it here.
well that's true. It's only 2 growers in the world of it. It gets about 18 feet. There's only 2 growers in the world, myself and Monrovia. So I don't sell to any box stores at all. The only store I sell to in Prescott is Waters. And this selection, so I licensed. I was very proud when Monrovia wanted this tree. It was my first deal I ever did with Monrovia. They have a few of my plants now. So Sweet Katie Chalopsis, I highly recommend. Yes, it sure does in the fall. It'll begin to lose its leaves around November.
Aspen gold leaves. Yeah.
Yep. The last trilogy here of Salvia. Salvia is one of my favorite plants. Hummingbird, I love hummingbirds. We get a lot of hummingbirds in Arizona coming through. Monrovia introduced radio red. Monrovia has radio red. I don't think you can tell, but a lot of the salvias have smaller leaves. It has super dark green leaves. And people just hone in on this salvia because of that dark foliage with such red flowers. If you're going to buy a salvia, you may as well buy the best one. This one sells 6 to 1. in the garden center. And you'll most only ever see these salvias in independent garden centers. This little salvia though is just fantastic. Radio red, I sell thousands of them all over. So does Monrovia. And it's that dark, larger green leaf that just bounces this color off. This is just amazing. And the hummingbirds, well, you're gonna get them.
Is that a perennial or annual?
It's perennial.
Perennial.
It's a very hardy perennial for up here. The secret to these plants is cutting it back once in a while. So you cut it back into February maybe up here, just before it starts to leaf out. And because it'll get a little woody looking, a little tired looking, a little old, little just woody. And that's not attractive. So you have to kind of be harsh on it and cut it back hard in February, down low, maybe 6 inches, 8 inches off the ground. And it will flush back out and be this beautiful, vibrant salvia.
How tall does it get ultimately?
3 feet.
3 feet, knee high.
Yeah, 3 feet, 3.5, 3 by 3. Easy plant to take care of. Bloom all summer and fall. So
Every yard in Yavapai County should have of some color because they're just so tough. They're just so easy to grow.
they are.
I grow them in pots. I've got that one in a pot. I got the purple in a pot. I got that one in the ground. They just do great.
Ignition Purple is the newest salvia in the Monrovia lineup. It was debuted last year. Again, I get skeptical. Man, this thing's bulletproof. It took 120 still bloom down on the desert floor. Up here, it's absolutely bulletproof for the heat. It'll just shine all summer. A little smaller leaf, but that purple is very unusual. The other purples on the market just aren't nearly as heat tolerant, even for up here. This is the most heat tolerant purple. Actually, it's the most heat tolerant salvia I've ever witnessed. We trial usually 20, 30 a year, different ones looking for more. This one took, you know how hot it was last summer, even up here. In June, it was 120 at the farm. Beautiful. It was amazing. So, stays a little smaller, maybe 2.5 feet, a little wider. Again, just cut it back once or twice a year up here. And that's Ignition Purple. Fantastic. This is, if you like pink, this is another heat tolerance, the last plant. Stop bothering me. It's called Salvia Sparkle. It's a smaller one, again, like Ignition Purple, maybe just below knee height. Bubblegum pink, super heat tolerant. I love salvias, so that's why I chose the 3. This one is in the Civano brand. It's a fantastic salvia. Bubblegum pink just pops against a lot of different colors, so it'll go into your garden really well.
I like that one better than even the Hot Lips. I think it's got that white throat
Yeah,
on the pink flower, whereas Hot Lips is a white flower with a pink kind of lipsticky
yeah.
kind of thing. I think that's going to outpace
It's doing real well.
the Hot Lips, which is an old-fashioned. Your grandparents were Hot Lips.
Yeah.
This was a new variety. I got excited. I got giddy over that.
Yeah.
That is that's a new one. So, any last questions for Chris? Because we got one last person. I think he's got some freebie handouts to go in the back.
On those salvias, can you cut those back now? I
Yeah.
bought 2
Yeah.
of those last
I cut
year.
mine back like 3 weeks ago.
As long as it's established
Yeah.
in the
Oh, it's established.
yeah, go for it.
Even if it's starting to bud out, I mean, have the leaves,
Yeah.
you can still cut it back down.
You got it.
Cut on it hard, otherwise it does get woody. Over and it loses vitality. It's kind of like a rose. It needs to have new growth. It has the best flowers on new growth. You want to encourage new growth. Of course, right after you get done cutting it, you fertilize it, the all-purpose food,
Yeah.
and that will encourage the new growth for it to wake up. It'll be in bloom in April. If you do that, it'll be starting blooming. It won't stop until Halloween. It'll still be in bloom. Thank you, Chris.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Last.